Salem Church Road has changed significantly from its early existence as a rural corridor outside of Newark to the busy corridor it is today. With a wide variety of adjacent land uses, many people traveling by different modes, special events held throughout the year, a transit route traversing the northern end of the corridor, and more. As the region has grown and the land along Salem Church Road has developed and changed, the corridor has evolved. Today, the corridor functions as a locally serving roadway, with some travelers passing through the area to other destinations. There are 10 to 15,000 motor vehicles on the corridor each day, according to estimates, with volumes toward the upper end of that range in the segment between Chapman Road and SR4. An estimated 65% of users of the corridor are traveling less than 8 miles. Few trips through the corridor travel beyond 15 miles. As incremental changes to the land and the roadway accumulate over time, it's important to take a holistic look periodically at how the corridor is meeting the needs of the community and consider what updates or enhancements may be needed. That is what this study is all about. The Salem Church Road Planning Study grew from several previous studies. Most recently, the Pedestrian Safety Study, completed in 2023, which collected and reviewed pedestrian, bicycle, transit, and traffic data, involved local stakeholders, evaluated opportunities to enhance corridor safety at key conflict locations, and addressed several near-term needs and opportunities for improvement. It also recognized that a more comprehensive planning study was needed. This Salem Church Road Corridor Study was initiated to build on the preceding studies and take a more holistic approach to corridor needs and recommendations. Our process started with defining a vision in collaboration with you, the stakeholders, and the public. During that time, we also added to the data and analysis from previous studies to further understand the existing conditions and expected future conditions. In each phase, we have engaged with the public through surveys, stakeholder meetings, and workshops. Using the data and feedback gathered, we prepared the corridor concept options we are sharing today, and about which we are seeking your thoughts. The remaining steps include narrowing in on the best options and recommendations among those you'll see today, which will be refined and presented in a final report. That report is expected to be complete later this spring and will include final recommendations, concepts, and supporting information necessary to support next steps toward potential implementation. Some important points to keep in mind. The concepts developed through this study and with your involvement help DelDOT and decision makers to identify needs and opportunities for the corridor, explore options, prioritize ideas, and refine the ideas and concept plans that are worth moving forward. Some ideas you will see in here do have significant impacts, such as to private property, and we want to get your feedback to help inform what should continue to be considered and refined, or not considered moving forward. Once a planning study is complete, its recommendations can be submitted for funding consideration under Delaware's Capital Transportation Program and other potential sources. Implementation of recommendations can range in time frame to completion, either as part of any private development that may occur, or under a capital project. Capital projects require additional detailed design, engineering, and public involvement to progress, with estimated implementation timeframes ranging from a few years to more than 10 years to implementation, depending on complexity and other factors that can be hard to predict. We looked at data on crashes, speeds, travel modes and patterns, traffic volumes and delay, physical conditions, and observed the corridor and spoke with stakeholders and the public to understand the existing conditions, current challenges, and opportunities. Those details are available from Public Workshop 1 and are on display at this workshop. Stakeholder and public engagement provided important feedback and additional understanding of challenges, opportunities, and visions for the corridor. Using the feedback received to date, we developed the corridor vision and objectives. The Salem Church Road Corridor Study and its recommendations seek to address these objectives as brought forth through that engagement, including lowering speeds, increasing safety, capacity and circulation, improving drainage, and sustaining the locally serving function and form of the corridor. Achieving lower speeds is key to achieving several of these objectives. And lower speeds is a pillar of the safe system approach, which DELDOT has adopted toward achieving 0 deaths. This approach guides us to focus transportation system design and operations on anticipating human mistakes and lessening impact forces to reduce crash severity and save lives. The principles of the safe system approach are: death and serious injuries are unacceptable. Humans make mistakes. Humans are vulnerable. Responsibility is shared. Safety is proactive, and redundancy is crucial. Using the safe system principles, our process for developing the concept ideas and recommendations for Salem Church Road include evaluating the right-of-way width, identifying the function or purpose of the corridor, and understanding the community priorities listed at left. Using engineering resources and judgment to identify the needs and space needed for safety of all corridor users, walking, bicycling, and driving. And our recommendations present concepts for advancing the safety and other objectives. Notably, future design steps would continue applying this approach to develop more specific applications of the concepts that come out of this study. Our draft recommendations include both infrastructure recommendations and policy-related actions. Among the infrastructure recommendations, we have developed several concepts that could be applied throughout the corridor, which we refer to as corridor-wide concepts, and concepts for 5 key locations on the corridor, circled here on the map. These are locations which we identified to have importance to achieving the corridor vision and objectives. We also have several design options that could be applied at various locations along the corridor. And among all the ideas presented, it's important to recognize that applying several ideas together can have added effect toward one or more corridor objectives, especially maintaining the local function and feel of the corridor. Now I want to orient you to the recommendations displays that you will see as part of this workshop, so you can best understand the ideas for the corridor which we are presenting. We have 3 displays that show our concept options 0, A, and B. These boards each present a design cross-section of the corridor which addresses the objectives for the corridor differently. Like this example shown, these 3 displays show a section view and a plan view of the option for the northern end of the corridor in blue and southern end in green, along with a listing of accomplishments, what objectives the option primarily accomplishes, and some additional details. Finally, you will see a table colored with red, yellow, and green, which identifies the anticipated impacts of the option to help you understand anticipated outcomes and compare the different options for the corridor. While each category represents a different issue, like anticipated speed reduction or a rough planning level estimate of cost, the color scale is intended to make it easy to see where the option achieves the corridor vision objectives the most, in the greens, or the least, in the reds. Next, we have 3 displays showing concepts at the 5 key locations. These boards have similar content to those I just explained, including the location map at left, the graphic showing the idea, the text giving additional detail, and the table of impacts and trade-offs. Some of the ideas have an alternative possibility mentioned under additional considerations. Finally, we have a display board that presents our other recommendations. This board includes options that could be applied at various locations throughout the corridor, recommendations associated with the school zone, bridge over I-95, and stormwater management and drainage, and a few policy recommendations that also support the corridor vision. After viewing this video, please proceed to viewing the displays that detail the past steps in our process, as well as our draft recommendations. We encourage you to discuss questions you have with the project team, or for those viewing online, see the contact information on the project page to submit a question. Finally, be sure to share your thoughts. We have a survey that is available online at the project webpage, or for those in person at the workshop, a paper copy, which you may complete and turn in this evening or submit by email or postal mail. The handout shown here is provided to summarize the various concepts we have prepared and help you see the key differences and trade-offs. It will likely be helpful to have nearby as you complete the survey and provide your feedback. Please submit your thoughts by April 24th to enable the project team to take all feedback into account as any refinements to recommendations are made, and the final draft concepts and report are prepared. That will be the focus of this spring. The project team will share the final concepts and report later this spring, at which time there will be a 30-day public comment period. Thereafter, recommendations may be advanced for funding consideration as public capital projects, or ideas may be progressed under private property development should that occur. And finally, remember some important points to keep in mind. This planning study provides the opportunity for DelDOT and decision makers to work with the community to discuss priorities and ultimately determine what ideas to move forward. Just because you see the idea here tonight does not mean the idea will be progressed. For those that do progress and are included in the final recommendations report, they would be considered for funding, and if selected, the concepts would need further design engineering. These are approximate time frames for capital projects, depending on scale and complexity, and future steps would continue to have public involvement. Given limited resources, often corridor enhancements are progressed in phases and as opportunities arise, either alongside development or in coordination with other projects. Many ideas presented could be implemented independently or in phases. And thank you for being involved in this workshop and in your community.